Okay, my friends, this is part 2 of Revelations 12 actually revealed. And this is the dragon, as we saw before. And this is his stuff he spit out at the fish, as we saw before. And this is his dragon scaled throat, as I think you saw before. And they're pretty well scaled. I mean, if you can't see that, these are the kind of things people, oh, just accidentally happen. No. That's a dragon's throat. So you got to get over that part of it. It is here. So now, what do we make of that? What did they say in the past? Well, they said a lot of things. A lot of things. And it started with the Sumerians, as far as I can determine. And there are things that I could find here, which is like this particular spot right here. I believe that was cut. It says in the Bible, I'll find the text, but it says that it was cut with he killed the dragon. Well, I'll find the text. He killed the dragon that lives in the sea with a great and mighty sword, something like that. All right, these are some sayings that mean things in my research. Isaiah 27:1, in that day the Lord will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, with his fierce and great and mighty sword, even Leviathan, the twisted serpent, and he will kill the dragon who lives in the sea. Not my words. Well, I just came across something here that I should alert you to. pt2, 2.4. In their greed, these false teachers will exploit you with tales they have concocted. The long-standing verdict against them remains in force, and their destruction does not sleep. For if God did not spare the angels when they sinned, but cast them into hell, delivering them chains to be held in gloomy darkness until their judgment. Well, guess what? They are no longer in chains of gloomy darkness. It is their judgment time, which looks to me like everybody gets judged at the same time. I just wonder, will the laughers just continue to laugh, or will they start to think? Now, this is the dragon, this is the fish, this was the attack on the fish by the dragon. And this is not long ago, because it's on top of the desert. It's running off into the desert, bleeding all over here. That's all effluent from that dying, bleeding dragon. So, I think I know when this did happen, but I will reserve judgment on that for speaking about that until some other time. However, if anybody can think that that is so deep in the ground as to have happened a long time ago, I would like to understand their reason. And I say this is a very recent event. And there's other things that have happened here. That is obviously the draining of the Sahara Ocean into the Atlantic. That was also written about by Plato in Timaeus. And that right there is, in my world, Atlantis. And I have done an autopsy on Atlantis, and the docks and all the channels and canals are still here. You see that? That's not just run off by accident. And neither is this. Every ring has its own set of channels and docks, and right down there, I believe, is where the boats came in and lined up, and I believe this is where the buildings were, and everything is here. That didn't happen by accident. These are channels that came in, they split off and went over to these different docks. There's a zillion docks here. And there might be something in there. I don't know what that is. You don't know what that is. You don't know what that is. Something growing there. Or something, a building is there. Something's there. Is in these stalls. So you decide. But I'm saying that is Atlantis. And I can also say these are the transition metal colors of metals, which they coated the rings, they said, but they dug deeper than they should have, and eventually it collapsed. That's what they said. But now I'm starting to think that it was the trauma of these guys wrestling and fighting over the top of this area collapsed that. And then they said the straits collapsed, which I agree with that. There's the straits right there. It collapsed. I don't have a problem with that. They never said the Straits of Hercules in any of the texts I could find. They said the Straits, and then later everybody decided, oh, that must be the Straits of Hercules. Well, Plato said this area, this is, I don't know, 50 miles or something. It's a very, very wide distance. All that mud ran out into the ocean, and Plato said they would never, ever speak of mud again. There was so much mud ran. So I don't see where anybody can deny the evidence I'm presenting. And if this should shed a little different light on what you might have thought about in the past, I would assume, unless you somehow knew about this, and I have never found anybody that has up until now. So it is time, though, to consider this in reality and not look towards the archaeologists and the anthropologists and the geologists. They have turned a blind eye to this, which I find very, very disturbing, but that's not my realm. I've tried to insert my foot in there, and they have stepped hard upon my little bitty toes, and then they push me back out the door. So that's where we are. Anyway, I'm looking at this and the historical writings as very, very, very serious. And when we look at Revelations 12, I think you'll understand why. And if it is truly what I'm saying, I'm not just making this up and making something so that everybody gets excited. If it truly is what I'm saying, my suggestion would be to give it deep consideration. All right? Part 3 coming up.